Let's see. How am I going to do this intro tonight to include this new butt wipe that we've... Oh, shit. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Whoever that dummy is.
Echo, I got to tell you, man, I look forward to your entrance every week on Tuesday nights. I
Thank
really
you.
do. I really do, because God don't... I mean, what's going to come out of your freaking mouth? We never know.
We never
Usually
do.
nonsense.
And it's wonderful.
I
And
go
you-
for
you-
nonsense. That's my MO.
You missed the worst screw you outro that I have done since I started doing them last week.
You really
It was terrible. It was, oh God, it was terrible.
it really was, mostly because you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, I whispered in the mic, you gotta tell me when to go.
And as soon as it ends, I go.
And I'm like, I was too busy thinking about listening for him,
That asshole.
and my brain didn't have it all worked out by the time it was,
All right, let's see.
It was a case of post, you have premature ejaculation and then post-mature ejaculation. It was the case of that.
Ah, well,
Good thing we're
you'll
live.
there.
Good thing we're live for that.
Ah,
Hey, it's Monday night. It doesn't matter.
That's true. It's
very
true.
good one.
We do tend to be a little more lax on things.
Risque.
Risque.
Okay, and there's
Hello,
Carol. Hi, Carol.
Oh, shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Yes, there you go.
Hey,
Shenanigans.
that used to be a nice place to party.
Lovely shenanigans is what it's for. All right.
There was a bar back in Wisconsin where I used to live that was called Shenanigans.
Just want to say I envy the fact that JT can smoke. I can't. I miss those.
You miss being
Why
on
can't you
air,
smoke?
don't you?
Inside the house, that I could still go outside. I can't do it inside.
No.
That's when you set up right next to the window.
Eh.
I mean, it could work.
Or you just simply say, screw you. I don't care.
She will murder me.
I am in the middle of a show and can't go anywhere. Click.
which doesn't always work because you get up and go anywhere no matter what.
Yeah, I hope you had one before you came in because we're not taking a break in the show. So
That's fine.
Wow, straight through. All right, we got Carol. Where's Lady Death? She's usually chiming in by now. I know Big
she might be a little bit late, I think. I can shoot her a message.
sacrificing. Big Tank is going to a sports game.
Well, he's going to a bar to watch a sports game or a friend's house, whichever.
I think we're better. I'm just saying. The sports game will still be on by the end of the show. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, but for college, you don't want to miss a minute.
Truth. Very, very true. So, all right, let's get to it. I should play the audio, huh? Well, I should play the music and have JT work his magic.
Go ahead.
Wherever that went. Where did my intro go? Well, the problem is I'm reorganizing all the hard drives. And there it is, Avenger Pretenders podcast. And there we go. We've got the long version, which is 30 seconds long. And I know JT... Oh,
I will do my best.
You'll kick butt. I have faith in you. You'll know when to come in. Here we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Avenger Pretenders. This week, we have a special guest, and he's actually going to hang around with us. Echo's coming to have some fun along with Billy and myself. Sit back, relax, get your adult beverage, get your popcorn, and let's have some fun with Boba Fett. Chapter 2.
That's right. Boba Fett. The Book of Boba
Nailed
Fett.
it.
New Avenger Pretenders. Hello, everybody. I'm Sully. I'm your main host, who's awesome and all that good stuff that everybody will question every single time, and that's quite all right. I don't mind. I know how I am. And, of course, JT is with us. Hello, JT. Thank you for that
Howdy.
wonderful improv intro. And, of course, as JT mentioned, we do have our man, Western Echo, who's been dying to come back on the air and is now doing so during our wonderful podcast of Avenger Pretenders, where we are talking about the book of Boba Fett. So this is episode 2. Yay for that. And
Why does he look nervous?
Why does Western Echo look nervous?
Yeah, he looks nervous. He's like, oh,
That's how it was working.
I mean, who said that?
Forgive me, sir. Or wait, I didn't do it right. Apologies.
You have, JT, you got to remember that when you're going to do the apologies, you have to do my apologies. And you have to do the whole arm, cloak, and bow thing. Apologies. Just like
I don't have to do shit.
But that's how you do it, according to the book of Boba Fett.
I'm also not the consummate podcast professional such as you are, Jeff. So apologies for the way I look.
Well, wait a minute. We're professional?
What does consummate mean? Isn't that what happens on the wedding night?
Oh,
it's a good point.
Or wait, no, that's consummate. I'm sorry.
And there you have it, folks. There you have it.
806 show takes a left turn. Good night.
And done. End scene. Yes.
Carol says, stop the echo. It's driving me.
Hearing the echo.
Oh. Yep. Nope. That's my fault. Hold on. I know why it's doing it.
Sully.
There we go. The echo
better,
is
Carol?
gone. The echo is gone.
I'm still here.
Yes, but the echo is gone
But I'm still here.
because I'm stupid and forgot to turn your NDI audio off.
Okay, so to get away from we got rid of the echo. No, I'm still here. We'll call you Wecko from now on.
Wecko, there you go.
Wecko.
That's very close to wacko. What are you trying to say?
Not a damn thing.
Not that I'm contesting it.
I blatantly said it.
Well, I mean, you know.
Carol says, thank you.
Welcome. That was my bad. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm very sorry about that. I'm working on getting the chat back up on the new panel that we have, because since we have Western Echo here with us.
I have a way that we can cover while you're doing that.
Oh, please, by all means.
Echo, what did you think of the Book of Boba Fett episode 1?
Oh, that's a very good question.
I love episode 1 because just the immediate moment it went into how Boba Fett escapes. I just said escapes. Escapes the monster and climbs out. That's when I literally ended up screaming at the screen. That was a moment for me. Just that one little deal and just taking us through the flashbacks was, I don't know, I felt warm and fuzzy the entire episode. It was very gratifying.
It was a hell of a way to start the whole series off, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean,
it's a lot of action and also, kind of alternating with the flashbacks and showing you, giving you a little bit of. I love every single thing about episode 1.
Well, and it really helped to, and this was something that we talked about last week, is it really helped to establish the timeline in this, whereas like in the MCU and everything, we have a lot of issues figuring out exactly where in the MCU timeline each thing falls. But with the flashback in the first episode, with the flashbacks and then the modern day thing, we're able to figure out where in the timeline all of this was happening and where the present day part is. So I really like that part.
Yep, agreed.
And the good thing about that is we already know it takes place directly after Return of the Jedi, but before and after the events of what happened in The Mandalorian. So we know it's taking place in those 5 years in between, which is good. It's a good thing that they're doing that. And this episode was just as great, if not better. If not better. Because we've even said that with the beginning of the first episode, that it kind of went a little slow, but it picked up. And like Western Echo, like you just said, it was one of those things when you saw him climbing out of the Sarlacc pit and seeing exactly what it is he was doing, you're like, oh, thank God. Thank God they're doing it. They're getting rid of all of that legend bullshit and bringing it right in front and going, fuck you, Disney.
Well, and I can tell you, I love the first episode. It was really, really good. Like we said, to me, it started out a little slow, but it definitely picked up as it went along.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this episode because, especially, it kind of feeds into Echo's comment just before we went on air, where, he went into a flashback and never came back. But you know me, I love knowing the background of things. What made a person what they are and those kind of things. And this episode answered not all of that as far as Boba Fett goes.
Right.
But it answered a lot.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, it answered how did his real character, how was that developed? And it was from all that time that he spent with the Sand People. I mean, it was, I don't want to go too far ahead of the story, but I really, really, this episode was the best episode that I have seen other than episode 1 of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
You keep referring to Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I told you when we did that episode, that is the best episode I have ever seen of any show.
You did.
And so far, nothing has beat it. They've come close, but they haven't beat it yet.
But not so much. Close, but no cigar. Close, but no
I
cigar.
loved episode 2, but I also had my problems with it, but I will hold off until we get to them.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Now, clearly, with episode 2, this one is the Tribes of Tatooine. And for once, one of the most mysterious creatures in Star Wars galaxy finally got their moment to shine. And the only reason why I say it's this episode, because don't get me wrong, with season 2 of The Mandalorian, when they were, when Mando was asking the Tusken Raiders for some help, and they were asking him, and they were going back and forth to get rid of that wonderful sandworm that basically made the sandworm in Dune look like a teddy bear, so to speak.
I was gonna say a pussy, but that works too. Or an echo, but
you're seeing more. You're seeing more character development with the Tusken Raiders. And the one thing that some people may not realize or understand is that in the wonderful, and I say this for a reason, wonderful legend.
Is there big quotes around that?
Oh, yes.
Big quotes? Okay.
The wonderful legend universe of Star Wars. You had Tusken Raiders who became Jedis. You had Tusken Raiders who became bounty hunters. You had Tusken Raiders that broke off and away from their tribes. Kind of like one-offs, I guess you could say.
Isn't correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard this somewhere. Isn't there like 5 different Tusken Raider tribes?
Yes, if I remember from the episode, they were mentioning there's 5 different ones.
Okay.
And they all have, their own traditions and their own things and all that wonderful good junk, which we like that junk. But it was nice to finally see more of what the tribe did, especially when it came to tradition.
Well, I mean, you never thought they had kids.
Well,
I mean,
yes and no.
At least I never did.
Right, which is why I refer to if you went and saw Attack of the Clones, you would see that there were actually children Tusken Raiders, pets, animal, like it was a tribe. So, think of it this way. It's more like well, I have to be politically correct, right? Do I have to be politically correct?
No. No.
More like the Native American tribes here in the United States.
There you go. Okay.
So I guess I will talk about my problems right now. So you think metaphor for Native American tribes? Because I got a very different metaphor. I was reading a very different metaphor through that tribe.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, should we wait to get to that flashback and then we'll talk about it?
Let's wait until we get there.
All right, we could do that. So the episode starts off with, Fennec Sand dragging somebody on back. Whoops. Oh,
I wondered if she was going to catch one or not.
Well, no, she did. She caught the one at the end of the episode up on the rooftop, remember?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean she's necessarily going to get him back.
Oh, I think she would have. I mean,
Boba told her alive, but, the guy may have done something that really pissed her off. I can remember an NCIS episode where, Ziva was being accused of killing a guy in the elevator because he pissed her off. So, the same thing could happen here.
And she spent the rest of the episode almost drinking herself to death because she was so distraught.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting you guys watch that. I'm not going to lie.
Still do.
It's not one of the ones that I watch. I'm sorry.
Gee, maybe you should so that you would know what the hell I was talking about.
Dude, I could probably catch up so quick you wouldn't even know what to do.
You'd have what, 16 seasons to catch up on?
But I know how to read. Just saying.
19.
I can be quick.
I can read a little bit too. See, this word says fuck, and this word says you.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it. So Fennec Sand, she's leading this assassin back to Boba's palace. You can't say Jabba's palace anymore because Boba Fett is now in control, because that's where Boba Fett holds court. Yes, we have to do the holds court thing. It's more official that way. And Fett demands that he tells him who sent him, what were his orders, and the loveliness of not wanting to talk. And I really love what they did with him because he wasn't talking.
Mm-hmm.
So they put him in the Sarlacc pit.
Well, and I give him credit for that because, most assassins, aren't supposed to talk.
Very true.
And the fact that they kind of made him stay with that was a good thing.
They made him pee his pants is what they made him do.
That they did.
Send him in the Sarlacc pit. I was kind of hoping he would have had a Sarlacc in there just for the hell of it. That would have been great.
That was a big disappointment, actually.
Kind of was.
But what? And I don't know if it's even worse that Bib Fortuna actually had them clean it out because it was him that took over. But I was like, man, it would have been nice if there was a skeleton of the frickin' Rancor there.
Well, maybe not the skeleton of the Rancor, because then it would make it kind of hard to threaten them with a Rancor, but they could have at least left the rest of the human skeletons and shit in there.
Right? The whole thing was cleaned up.
When Luke fell in there, what did you see? Skulls and rib cages and,
Bones of all the former dancers. And
it's not very scary when you fall into a pit that has been swept and dusted and mopped.
And there's still dirt on the ground. I was very disappointed with that.
You can sweep dirt too, believe it or not.
But it would have been cool if Bib Fortuna actually had something from Jabba's menagerie of exotic alien animals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how else are you going to torture people or put them to death or anything like that? Send them to the Rancor pit. Done. Can't send them to the Sarlacc because that's dead. So I was a little disappointed in that, but I still thought it was pretty cool. that they used the trap door and the thing just slid, and I'm like, yes, we're gonna see some. Aw, we didn't see anything. A little bummed about that, but it was great seeing the reaction to hit, yeah, with the doors opening, and then Fennec just goes, "The Rancor's dead, you idiot."
His eyes popped wide open. You know.
He literally had that look like, I've seen this movie. This does not well end.
So while he's in the pit, he shouts out loud, "The mayor sent him. The mayor Mos Espa sent him," and that you can see Boba Fett kind of just gets pissed, you know. Still keeps his composure, but still pissed, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that just, it goes to show like what he has done over the years, that with the flashbacks and everything, that kind of keeps him in that composure, so to speak, you know? Like, he's a completely different person from when you saw him in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Completely different person. Even in The Mandalorian, he was completely different.
Well,
So-
and if you think about it,
Oh,
sorry,
JT's dying.
you wish. If you think about it, you know, there was all the controversy from episode 1 about when he sent his little freaking lackey to, you know, give
To get the assassin.
no, he didn't bring him any money or anything. What's that called?
Oh, to welcome him, right?
Oh, yes, the welcoming. The
What is it called, Sully?
The welcoming, and you need to pay me. You need to pay the mayor.
Yeah, whatever the payment's called, because, you know, and he sent him to do it, and he didn't get anything. And then he turns around and finds out that, okay, first, the sorry son of a bitch tribute. That's it.
Yeah.
First, the sorry son of a bitch, you know, doesn't send a tribute with this lackey that he sent.
Yeah.
And then he tries to kill me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what the hell?
Think you may not like. I don't know.
Right.
So Fennec suggests, hey, let's go visit the mayor. Let's pay him a visit, and let's take care of this. And when they get to Mos Espa, his bodyguards are with him. I love those Gamorrean guards. I hope they get like so much screen time. Those two are badass. They don't say anything. They don't growl. They're just there to kick the shit out of somebody.
They kind of grunt a little bit.
You're right. And I just sneezed, but hey, it's all good.
Bless you.
Oh, thanks. I actually muted my mic without hitting it into my face. It was wonderful. But of course,
One of the best moments ever on the Sully show.
Oh, it was great. So they get there, and they what the heck are they called? I forget what they call it. Frickin' hell. Bosk. Who was it? Bosk? Yeah, the bounty hunter Bosk. Trandoshan. Clearing out cobwebs of my Star Wars memory here, folks. It's been a while. But we see like a couple of the Trandoshans sitting around, and they kind of eye him as they're walking up to City Hall with the assassin and the Gamorrean guards, and they just walk right in. Hello, welcome. No.
Who enters my chamber?
Who dared disturbs my slumber? You know, it was just like they walked in and they owned the place right then and there. And the City Hall clerk, I don't know if you noticed who the City Hall clerk was. Did you guys notice who it was?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's very familiar. A very familiar face.
Not to me.
Oh, wait until I tell you. You ever hear of a little show called, I don't know, The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yep. That is Mando.
What?
Yes.
Well, in The Mandalorian, you never see his face. Well, at the very end, you see his face.
That's true. That's true.
But it's not enough to really, make it stick in your head.
You've only seen him take off the helmet, what? I think a total of 3 times in The Mandalorian?
Something like that.
But yes, that is, what's his name there, Echo?
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, there you go. Pedro Pascal. Because, he's been doing The Mandalorian and also friends with Robert Rodriguez and Jon Favreau.
On the subject, by the way, we just mentioned, guess who was doing the voice of Mayor Mark Shaiz?
Oh, who?
Look it up. I want to hear your reaction.
Okay.
Echo, his first time on the show, says, screw you, look it up yourself.
All right, I'll tell you. Just mention his name, Robert Rodriguez.
Really? Robert Rodriguez did his voice, huh?
That he did the voice of the mayor.
Okay. All right. The one thing that I will say when it comes to the entire cast and crew of these shows, they really all just work together. And don't get me wrong, like Bryce Dallas Howard, she's a freaking Star Wars nut now.
Oh yeah, she's a huge nerd.
She is Star Wars. You would figure, she was in Spider-Man, she'd be a big Spider-Man, but nope, Star Wars. That's her thing.
Come on, Spider-Man, Star Wars, which one are you going to pick?
Well, I mean, you could pick Jurassic Park, too. I mean, she was in Jurassic World, so yeah. But it's funny because they, like, I don't want to say this has never really been done before, but when it comes to the way they're handling the shows, they're doing exactly what they're doing with Marvel. Is these directors are all sitting down and they're helping plan out exactly what's going on and just running with it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it is a big fuck you to Disney. It really is. And don't get me wrong, nothing against Kathleen Kennedy, but she's had her hands in, and no. I know she's Steven Spielberg's right-hand woman, always has been, always will be. Leave Star Wars alone. Let the Star Wars fans and geeks do what they need to do. Just let us do what we need to do. Because if it wasn't for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, again, Star Wars would be dead in the water again. And they're just basically going, nope, screw you. So we get to the point where they basically just walk right past the clerk, and the major domo apologizes for his lack of pomp and circumstance. Says, you can't go in there. The mayor is a very busy person, and the mayor's just sitting on his ass doing nothing.
Hey, Cat, would you get out the way of my light?
Yeah, get out the way, Cat. Get out the way. So, in the long run, clearly, it doesn't matter if you're in some type of office or not. Boba Fett is just going to walk right in and go, why'd you do it? Which is basically,
well, especially if you piss him off.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would expect if we ever offended Western Echo in any type of way, for him to be like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, seriously, I'm going to kill you. But he's a very peaceful person deep down inside. No, he's not.
Deep down inside.
Deep down. So, as the majordomo claims that the mayor is indisposed and he can't see him, Fett walks right in, and the mayor demands an explanation. Why are you here? And they basically just throw the assassin right at his feet and says, why'd you try to assassinate me? And out of nowhere, the mayor tells his guards, shoot the man, because Order of the Night Wind, right? If I remember correctly. Order of the Night Wind are not allowed to operate inside city limits.
Is it inside city limits, or is it on Tatooine as a whole?
I think it was on in city limits is what it was. Because I mean, really, technically, it's an underground assassin tribe. You know, it's basically like the lowest of the low criminal scum that you can think of. Only these guys are cheaper.
You know, in this case, you know, would you really want to go with the cheaper assassin?
Well, they're pretty handy
You know,
in parkour.
you get what you pay for, kind of thing. You know. Yeah.
They are pretty handy in parkour. I mean, we saw that in episode 1. So, yeah, I mean, they're still a force to be reckoned with, so to speak. I mean, they did outnumber them.
So they're French.
Now, wait a minute. The French Foreign Legion is pretty badass.
Says who?
Great at waving white flags. Moving on.
So, Fett asks the mayor to admit that he did it, and he has the guards assassinate him. Dead right in front of him, and they drag the body off, out of the way. Gone. See you later. They're not allowed to operate. Wow. Holy crap. Somebody
You're going to have
that.
to put that one yourself.
Yeah, probably.
Is it a great show too?
Oh, dude, this is nothing.
That's tame.
Just the start. We were just getting started. So anyway, they according to the mayor, if I'm reading this right, they were not allowed to operate outside of hut space. So they could operate outside of the city, in the Dune Sea, in the mountains, whatever. If the huts didn't control it, they were not allowed to operate. And with the huts, even though the cities were technically in their territories, it was still city limits. So that's pretty much what they're saying is you can't operate inside city limits. Simple as that. And then the mayor turns around and says, "Well, thanks for turning him in." Wow, holy shit!
Thanks for tuning him in. We've been trying to find the right frequency for him for the last week.
Thank you.
David to Knobs.
Down a little too flat.
Holy shit! This is gonna be one of those podcasts. So
he said, "Thank you for turning him in. Please pay the man."
Yeah, pay the man. And Boba Fett, without missing a beat, says, "I'm not a bounty hunter,
but I will take this payment as tribute."
Absolutely, and rightfully so. He owes him
nice
money.
of him.
Owes him money. Yeah.
See, if it was me, I'd have been, well, I appreciate the donation, but you still owe me a freaking tribute.
You owe me money.
You know, I mean, come on.
You owe me $50. That's what you owe me. You owe me $50. I'm just saying. The major. Wow! Holy crap!
Sully,
I think
Okay.
I really
take a shot of Gentleman Jack, and you'll be okay.
I think I really do need to do some show prep so you guys can cover for me just in case. Anyway.
Well, I mean, basically, you know, he says, "Thanks for finding him. Pay the man." Boba says, "Cool, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Make it your tribute." And then as they turn to leave, Major Domo says, "By the way, what's going on is not what you think is going on."
He starts getting really snooty. He's like,
Yeah.
Yo, you want tribute? Here's a tribute. I have some piece of advice for you.
Stop messing around, you know?
Yep.
And the other thing is that he basically, this is when they basically mention that the twins are in control of Jabba's territory.
Well, they have to go to the cantina first.
Right. But
Major Domo tells them, go. I can't remember what the name of it was, but go to the cantina.
right. But at the same time, the mayor was basically saying, listen, you're on the throne of your former employer, and Bib Fortuna took over first, and he didn't work for Bib Fortuna. We know he didn't work for Bib Fortuna. He was stuck in the Sarlacc pit and out in the desert. So we know he wasn't working for him. We know he didn't even work for him. And the mayor thinks that he was. He's like, no. And then they clarify, no, Jabba, you are now sitting on Jabba's throne. And somebody else is staking claim to that. So things are starting to get to kind of get a little bit of clarity. And when he not only does that, but then they go, all right, you need to go to Garsa's sanctuary, where they're welcomed with open arms. Welcomed with open arms. Go to Garsa and figure it out. You're on your own. I'm not going to tell you what's happening. So they go, and that's when they find out that the twins, Jabba's cousins, well, they're staking claim. It's them.
Yeah. I love this. Read the paper.
Yeah. Read the fine print.
Here's my legal document that says we're taking over.
Yeah. And
once again, that Jennifer Beals still looks hot as shit. I don't know how old she is, but she just doesn't change.
Yeah, she really doesn't. It's very weird. It's like, you should have aged a little bit by now. Just a little.
Well, she's a female version of Casey Kasem.
I mean, how old is she?
1963. That means she's 58.
Wow.
Does that look like a 58-year-old woman?
No. I mean, don't get me wrong, makeup and all, but no.
Oh, great. Yeah, fine. She still looks awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, as a Twi'lek, I mean, come on. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? But I mean, she looks amazing. For her age, she looks amazing. Way to go, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. You know how to pick them. Another point. They're just racking them up. They really are. They're just racking them up. So, as they're discussing the twins, the cantina goes silent. Now, the one thing that kind of bothers me with this scene is I still want to know how Max Rebo survived the destruction of Jabba's sail barge. Nobody can answer this. Nobody can answer this. Max Rebo, the blue guy with the ears and the snout playing the piano in this cantina. How did he survive the explosion of Jabba's sail barge? How? He was on it. I want to know how he survived. I want a spin-off of just 2 episodes, maybe a web series, of how he survived.
Just his own flashbacks, how he crawled out of it.
Yeah. I want to know. Did he get off before, all hell broke loose? Or, or what? Because they're playing music on the sail barge.
Maybe it's his twin that nobody knew he had.
I don't know if I can even play devil's advocate for that. I wish I could, but no.
You just started a Reddit thread. Tomorrow there's going to be it's going to go on for next year. Arguing for this.
Sad part is I don't even do Reddit. I'll have you start it. How about that? You're on Reddit all the time.
No, I'm not.
Well, you read it.
Worse than Twitter.
It is worse than Twitter.
What do you think took their lessons from?
I just want to know. I want to know how they managed to survive. Or at least him. You don't see any of the other Max Rebo band members. You just see him.
Maybe they were out sick that night.
They were all on the sail barge.
Maybe he had a twin.
I mean, the night in this episode.
Well, that's what JT said. Maybe he had a twin. I don't know. I'm just something's a little fishy about this.
Well, it could always be one of those they all look the same kind of comments if we want to go there.
That's very racist.
Okay, so what I just
Moving on.
what I just found online, after they freed Han Solo from Carbonite, several members of the band were present with Jabba in hiding. The band then traveled on board Jabba's sail barge to the Great Pit of Carkoon, surviving the explosion and breaking up afterward. What is this, the Beatles? Come on!
We're going to spend 3 more hours on this. Just a small moment.
I know it's bad. So anyway, we hear drums and the twins show up outside of the cantina. And by twins, I'm talking about 2 very large huts.
2 very large bowls of frickin' Jello.
Yeah, the slugs, the worms. What was
Ugliest looking things in yeah.
The Hutt brother tells Fett that they have business to discuss, and he replies that this is his territory and to get out. And both the brother and sister say, well, no. We're claiming this because Jabba was our cousin, and you're not the rightful ruler of Jabba's territory. It's now ours. And as Western Echo so nicely put it not too long ago, read the paper. A tablet.
Hey, look, pal. I shot him. I took over his frickin' palace. I'm the man, not you.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't just claiming the territory, it's claiming Tatooine itself. Like, they were taking over Tatooine. Without a fight? I don't think so. So Boba Fett goes, nah. No, this is mine. Get away. And of course, the Hutts laugh it off. Like, and then we see Black Chrysanthemum, if I'm saying that right. Also known as BK.
Just call him BK.
BK. One very big Wookiee.
And this dude is stacked.
He really is. He's...
I think he cuts his hair just so that it accentuates his massive frickin' arm, you know. He's very, body image conscious.
Yeah. Well, very threatening, but you notice how Boba Fett didn't back down from him.
Boba just kind of looked at him like, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, dude. I know you're a Wookiee and all, and I know you can rip my arms off, but I'm not afraid of you. Not afraid of you at all.
A bullet will beat your hand.
And they do mention a very interesting part when he looks at the Wookiee. He goes, "This is not the death pits of Dur."
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can tell you this. I don't know much about the death pits of Dur. I know. Shocking. Shocking, by the way.
Okay, I quit.
No, don't quit. Oh, there he goes. I don't know.
Sully doesn't know something about Star Wars?
It's rough. It's rough. I'll give you that. But it's very interesting to see the possibility of what could happen at that specific area. Mostly because, like I said, I've never heard of it. And when I look it up and research it, there's not much on it.
I'm thinking, the Wookiee version of Fight Club.
Probably.
Or the Wookiee version of Chicken Fights. You
Maybe,
take your pick.
Or maybe it was Maybe it was where he was trained. Not sure.
He is in the Wookiee, or he is in Boba?
The Wookiee. BK.
Okay.
Santi. Santi's another nickname for him. But maybe it was like maybe it's like a gladiator type thing. You know? Like,
That
hey,
works. That works.
let's go see the fights, and there he is, you know. So so they basically say, you know, listen, we're gonna kill you, or just walk away, and Boba Fett is told that he has upset the Hutt's sister.
Oh, gee.
I don't know how he upset the Hutt sister.
Because he refused to leave.
They don't show
Can you
much
tell
emotion.
which one of them was a sister? Because I couldn't.
Not until he said it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Not
Is
until
that
he said
fat
it.
bitch or that fat bitch? I don't know.
Actually, it's that fat bitch or that fatter bitch.
Which one is it? So one, I'm really surprised that they had that many people lifting them up and carrying the two of them.
Yeah, see, I'm calling bullshit, number one, on the number of people they had on that giant freaking skid
Right.
loader thing.
Right?
And two, I'm calling bullshit on the fact that it would even be able to hold one of them.
Yeah. It did look like it was bowing a little bit.
Oh, it was. There was a definite bow in the middle of that thing.
Yeah. So the brother threatens Boba Fett and says bloodshed will be bad for business and to sleep lightly. Sleep lightly.
And then he gets the look from BK.
Yeah. And that just goes to show you that shit's gonna go down. Big time.
And then we actually have a point where they prove that Boba Fett actually has a sense of humor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because he looks at what's her name and goes, well, maybe that's the end of it.
Yeah, no. No. It's far from over. Far from over, I tell you.
Yeah, it's nowhere near done.
So after that, we go back to the palace. He's back in the back to tank and resting and getting all rejuvenated and healed, because let's face it, he's not 100%. We know he's not 100%. He's basically going on fumes.
He got the shit kicked out of him, and he didn't get a chance to have a full treatment. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So, and that was the thing. Like, he hasn't had a full treatment at all. And we go back into a flashback scene. And now this episode was longer than the others. And I know for a fact Western Echo is going to have a lot to say about this.
You think? Possibly.
Just a little. Just a
I
little.
got it.
Just don't do an Adam, okay?
I will say this. The flashback is now about Boba living with the Tusken Raiders. The tribe that he's with, so to speak. And he's learning their ways. Now, I, for one, as a Star Wars fan, loved this whole flashback. I did. I loved it. I thought it was amazing the way they did it.
So do you think it's like, what is that called? Munchausen syndrome? You know, where you start identifying with your captor? Do you think it's that case, or do you actually think he's, you know?
Stockholm syndrome. But
Stockholm syndrome, that's it.
So,
Hey, at least I had a freaking word. I could be sitting there going, you know, that one thing where you know, that thing.
That thing there.
Like, hey, can you play that song? Which one?
Okay.
Munchausen syndrome. Yeah, that was bad.
So my opinion is no.
No? Okay.
And the only reason
I don't
why
think
my
so either. I
opinion
just wanted to
is
throw it
no
out there.
But the only reason why my opinion is no is Boba Fett, although one of the greatest bounty hunters that was in the Star Wars canon, he's also a survivor.
Agreed.
So, from him being younger when Django was beheaded by Mace Windu in Attack of the Clones, to his role as a younger, I don't want to say bounty hunter, but more like crime group, because he had a couple of stints in the Clone Wars TV show where it was a young Boba and you saw him getting older as they went on and whatnot. He's a survivor. That's his thing. He's a survivor. Or as his father would say, I'm just a man making my way through the galaxy. That's it. Trying to make my way through the galaxy.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I think with what he took from Django with the short time that he's known him, now mind you, he is a clone, unaltered, so he does have the build, he's got the athleticism, he's got the skills from when he was younger to now. I think this was more of, I need to get these people to trust me so I can survive. And the only way to do that is to, save a young one from a monster that came up out of the sand and earn the respect of this tribe. Kind of like some other movies out there that have to deal with.
That's been the one disappointing thing with me.
Really?
So far with this was, I understand that it definitely feeds into the storyline.
Right.
And it helps establish everything, but to me it was kind of just, for some reason, it's just a little bit disappointing to me.
Really?
That they had to follow that same old, prove yourself to the tribe. Granted, they did it a little bit differently by, him saving one of the children, and then letting the child tell everybody that he killed him, and not say anything.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean, JT. I mean, the main protagonist of the story ends up getting lost in a wilderness and gets saved by a tribe of people who are generally perceived to be complete barbarians who like to hide behind rocks and shoot people for entertainment, but who actually in the end turn out to be really nice and teach him their ways. I've never seen it before.
Okay. They never said that. I never said that they were nice. They were still assholes because they never really told them what to do. They just pointed, go there. They this is kind of ruined things a little bit, but they give him a lizard as a gift, and don't tell him that if you don't cover your nose, he's gonna go right up it.
Well,
it's gonna be like the dude that fell on top of a mortar shell.
That was very Douglas Adams, by the way. Just want to
nailed it. So basically, he's learning their ways. He's learning how to do things. He's learning how to fight with a gaffy stick. He's learning how to survive in the desert, and a hover train approaches, and they start shooting at the Tusken Raiders because most of the time, Tusken Raiders, they attack because they feel their land is their land and the other Outlanders are impeding on it. And Boba Fett tells them, well, listen, I'll help you take out the train. I'll teach you.
What made him tell them that, though?
What made him tell them that? Some of the death to the other Tusken Raiders that got shot while fighting the train, fighting off the...
Well, that's part of it, but what made him come up with the idea and everything was, remember the taggers from episode 1?
Yes.
The guys on the speed bikes? Well, that night, he saw them go by.
Yes.
And he says, idea.
Time to have some fun. So he helps After the train attacks and a couple of the raiders are killed for no reason whatsoever. Really, for no reason. It was no reason that they were killed. They all help, and even Boba helps with cremating the remains of the ones who died.
Yeah, and they very unceremoniously threw that body onto that fire.
They really did.
I mean, usually you show a little bit more respect to, and unless this was one dude that just nobody liked.
Yeah.
You know, usually you show a little bit more reverence to your dead than to go, ugh.
So when he sees the speeders go, he says he wants to leave, but he'll be back. And he asks the chief for permission. He doesn't ask anybody else. He goes right to the chief and says, "Let me take this rifle. I'll be back."
I take rifle and stick. Be back by sunup.
I'll be back. And when he leaves, he finally I don't know if we finally actually see it. I'm sure we've seen it numerous times. They've mentioned Tashi Station from the first Star Wars movie pretty much to now. We've never actually seen it unless it was a deleted scene from the original Star Wars movie. And that's possible. That's all we've really seen of it. But Boba Fett ends up there. So we finally get to see a section of Tashi Station, and a fight's breaking out. Because you got miners in there that are basically being, well, I don't want to say the miners. It's more like a biker gang. It's the gang, basically. And they're taking people's drinks, they're taking people's food, they're treating people like crap. And as the fight breaks out, old school Western style, the door opens up and there's Boba Fett's shadow. And I went, here we go. Things are going to happen. Like, here we go. Shit's going to go down. And sure enough, starts beating the living shit out of everybody.
Rather effectively.
Very effectively. So he's taken what he's learned as a fighter and a bounty hunter and taking the teachings from the Tusken Raiders and just wiped the floor with everybody. Now, to me, that makes him worse than what he already was.
And we had to have at least have the one part where glass got broken.
Yes.
You had it. They almost didn't do it, but right at the end of the fight, he throws the guy through the glass. I'm like, thank you.
Later in the episode, he drives through a fruit stand.
Well, I think he drove over something kind of fruity, but yeah.
Yeah, I think did. So after he beats the living crap out of all of them, kills a couple of them too, he decides, you know what? I'm going to take their bikes. Hooks them all up, and he takes them back to the Tusken Raider camp. And
I love that.
And he basically says, listen, this is a gift for you. I'm going to help you defeat that train. I'm going to help you stop it. And boy, does he start training him. You know.
But I love how he starts giving this whole speech. When he's done, he turns around and they are taking those bikes apart.
Yeah. Like, no! Don't take it apart! No! Don't take it apart, please! Don't! No, these are for you. We're going to ride them. I'm going to show you how to ride them. And it's just like teaching a kid how to ride a bike.
I had to laugh though because he's like, my gift to you. Wait, no, those are mine. Those are mine. Don't tear them apart.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. It was, the intention was there. But for them, you know, they're Tusken Raiders. They're going to take it apart and use those parts for something else. Not use the speeder for what they were meant for. So for him to teach them how to ride speeders was something very out of character for the Tusken Raiders. Very out of character. I mean, they're used to riding on banthas, single file, to hide the numbers, you know? So for this, Now we're gonna have some fun because as he's teaching them, he's also learning how to use the gaffy stick a little bit better. He's learning how to knock opponents out of people's hands, so on and so forth. And then they get to the point where they're gonna take out the train. And boy, was that an interesting battle. Kind of like your old school train robbery film, you know? Only a lot faster.
A lot faster.
A lot faster.
And bigger explosions.
Yeah. So we get to the point where pike gunners, if you don't know what pikes are, they are a very interesting alien species that kind of rule like the underground mafia type thing. They were mentioned in, if I remember correctly, Clone Wars and Rebels. We've seen the Pike Syndicate. They're spice miners. If you've seen Solo, a Star Wars story, the Kessel planet where, Millennium Falcon has done the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs, they rule that. They rule it. And many of the Wookiees are slaves. So spice is a very, very profitable business for these people.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're
just like it is for the drug dealers around here.
Well, and that's the thing. Or worse. So as we're going through, we're seeing Tusken Raiders getting killed, getting injured. We're seeing Pikes getting thrown out of the train. And then the female Tusken Raider who helped Fett with his training on the gaffy stick races toward the train, gets in it, and beats the living shit out of everybody. Holy crap, is she fast. So fast, in fact, you're seeing Pikes getting thrown out the window, out the doors, off the train, you name it. She's just taking them out one by one.
Yeah, and all Boba sees is she looks, she jumps up on the side of the train, and she ran her speeder into right between them, so part of the train fell off.
Yep.
And she's hanging on the side. She looks up, Boba looks down. They see each other, and you just see her dive in the window.
Yeah.
And then, like immediately after that, you see one of the Pikes go whoop, right back out.
Bye. So they get to the point where they finally take over the train. Boba Fett gets into the cockpit of the train and he tells the droid to stop it, and the droid bails out.
Mm-hmm.
Just bails out. Later. Bye.
See ya.
Walks off into the distance. And afterward, when he finally gets the train to stop, the Tusken Raiders are raiding it. They're raiding it. They're taking away everything, doing what they need to do. They're taking supplies for their camp, and Fett is sitting there talking to the Pike leader. And he says, "Who's the leader?" Nobody stood up until finally he said, "Who's the leader? Because otherwise I'm going to kill you." And finally he stood up and said, "Is there spice on this train?" And first he said no. And he goes, "I'm going to let you rethink that."
He asked what spice was.
What's spice? Yeah, you're right. What's spice? And they dumped it out. That would be spice.
That's spice.
So he tells them that they're not going to kill them. They're going to let you go. And as they said that, the Pike leader says, "I'm going to, if you let us go, we're going to be killed. The Tusken Raiders are going to kill us. They're uncivilized. They'll kill us en route." And Fett says, "No, as long as you stay within the Dune Sea, you can go and you'll be fine. Just stay away from it from now on. You don't want to do that." Okay. And Western Echo is helping me out by showing what a pike is. That is a pike right there. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So there you go. There's a pike for those that are watching. And they're kind of like fish creatures, I guess you could say. fish creatures. So they say they're under protection of the Tusken Raider camp that Fett is a part of, and they get out of here. And they say, walk single file in the direction of the sun, and it'll get you to Anchorhead by sunset. And we all know where Anchorhead is. We've all seen it. We've all heard it. It's wonderful. That's basically where everybody goes. And the Tusken Raiders plunder the rest of the train. So from there, we're getting toward the end, and this is where we see a very big transition. And like JT mentioned earlier, a lizard is given to Boba Fett as a gift. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this, I thought this was very interesting. The lizard went up Boba Fett's nose, and all you see is Boba Fett he's out.
I mean, it gave me the willies, and that's hard to do. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, I think I swallowed it."
Yeah. What happens is the chief explains to Boba Fett that the lizard will lead the way, and
From inside.
Yeah, from the inside, and he gets all blurry eyed. He's basically on frickin' mushrooms.
I was just gonna say, it's like, somebody who's the first time they've smoked marijuana.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
that's
like,
the association Native Americans came. Like, they get high on peyote late at night and hallucinate.
Yes.
there you go.
Yes, exactly. But the other thing is when we see this, now we're seeing more flashbacks of him as a kid on Camino, Django leaving with Slave One, crawling out of the Sarlacc pit. Like, we're seeing all these memories pop up, and at the same time we're seeing this tree. It's just a tree. I'm like, what the hell is the meaning of this tree? Like,
Well, and here's the thing, for me, okay?
Mhm.
There are things that are not where they're supposed to be. Okay.
yes.
My example from my experience, it would be trees, pine trees, Christmas frickin' trees in the middle of the Saudi Arabian desert.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Okay, that was frickin' wild.
That's a cool mirage.
Oh, it wasn't a mirage. It was real. We drove through them.
It's true.
But, he sees this tree that, it looks like it's in the middle of an ocean because there's waves crashing all over the place and all that stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's pretty freaking weird.
So once we see him, he's kind of like fighting off these branches that are kind of like grabbing him and pulling at him, and he breaks off a branch. And then the following day, he's back at the camp and he's carrying this branch. Like, all right, I thought this was all a dream. He's met by a couple of Tusken Raiders, and then all of a sudden the lizard just comes out of his nose.
He holds the little box back up.
Holds the box, catches the lizard, closes it up. And the best line is Boba Fett's like, I thought that was part of the dream.
Yeah. It's one effed up dream, man.
So then we see basically a montage of what's happening. We're seeing his wounds being healed, new dress robes, and we're also seeing Boba Fett forming and carving his own gaffy stick, which is now, I'm saying to myself, holy shit, they're making him a part of the tribe. They're doing like an actual ritual to bring him as a part of the tribe.
Right, and that's the one thing in what he's thinking is a dream. He's being basically engulfed by this tree.
Yes.
And he grabs a branch and he breaks it. And when he gets back, he's carrying that branch.
We mentioned that.
Which means it wasn't really a dream. He was actually going through this, but
Right.
where the hell did all the freaking water come from? That's
No
what I'm
idea.
trying to figure out.
No idea. But now it makes perfect sense why he was wearing a black robe in The Mandalorian. You know? Because now we've seen, okay, well, the Tusken Raiders got him. They did something. And
Never thought of that.
now they're doing a ritual fire dance, so to speak, where they're all doing the moves with the gaffy stick. Like they're what's the word I'm looking for here? And Western Echo just put it up on the screen. Thank you, sir. Where they're basically, it's basically like a warrior initiation type of thing.
It's kind of like if for anybody who's taken or had kids do things like karate or taekwondo and stuff like that, and they have routines that they have to go to,
Yeah,
in order to move up to the next level. That's kind of what what they're doing here.
absolutely.
Is they're all doing a routine, and it's really neat to me that everybody joined in.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's very interesting to say the least. And the cool part is he made his own stick. And they even put the armored plating to it so it won't break and so on and so forth. Could you imagine if that was laced with the Mandalorian armor? Jedi would be afraid of that.
Did we ever see him carrying that in The Mandalorian?
Yes. Yeah, he's carrying it.
Okay.
He beats the shit out of the stormtroopers with it.
Okay. It's
On the mountaintop episode. Poor little Grogu.
Thank you.
But then the episode ends. It just cuts to black as they're doing this dance around the fire, and that's it. That's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I kind of liked it for the fact that we got to see more character development of the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Because we've never really seen that aside from hey, we're barbaric, that type of thing. Then, of course, as we were talking about it before the show went on the air, Western Echo has some words.
I don't know. I've already expressed. I started expressing it early, but this whole idea of our main West protagonist gets in touch with his native roots by getting in touch with nature and meeting with the native people, and they show him what it's really like to be alive and really not as barbaric as everybody thought they were, and he accepts their ideals and they accept him as part of their tribe. And of course later on there's going to be some big battle, and he's always going to lose, and of course they're going to show up and say that they like the coward that they are. So I don't know, it just seems a little what's the right word? As a non-language speaker, what's the word for that? When it's obvious.
Cliche?
Yes, that's the one.
So your theory is gonna be that the tribe is gonna die?
No, quite the opposite. They're gonna show up and save the day.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be a big battle. He's gonna almost lose, and they're gonna show up and be the heroes.
Okay.
And then everybody's gonna see what nice people they really are.
No, they're just protecting one of their own.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I know.
That's not a factor of being nice. It's hey, we have accepted you as family. We have a chance to save your sorry ass, and we're going to.
I understand all
but
that.
it's still rather cliche.
It felt a little, and I hate to be the Adam of this group, but it did
No, you
felt.
don't.
No, yeah, I don't. It felt a little political. I don't mind. The director and the producers, they're gonna have their ideas, of course, and nobody's gonna be completely apolitical. So they're gonna have some ideas, and they put them in there. It's fine, but it does feel a little bit.
Just a little?
Like, all right, I get it. I've seen that movie already. Let's move on.
Sure, and we've all seen something like that. I mean,
I'm not saying we all have.
Yeah, you can't watch a TV show or a movie without something that's already been done before. I personally like it because they finally took the Tusken Raiders and
It's
brought
nice
them
to
to
see
the
more about 'em.
forefront.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a Star Wars geek, absolutely. I mean, you get these tiny characters who've always just gotten a second here and a second there, and you finally get a story about them. Of course,
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
And I mean, I've been saying this for years. Don't get me wrong. I love the whole Skywalker saga. I do. But
There's always a but.
the line at the beginning of the movie is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There's more going on in the galaxy far, far away than just the
How did that guy
Skywalkers.
survive the explosion of the ship?
Right.
My question has always been far, far away from where?
From where
7.
you are, JT. From where you are.
Okay. Okay.
So I love the idea of exploring all of these different areas in the Star Wars universe that brings more alien creatures, more humans interacting, no Jedi. I love seeing that. And I know I've mentioned it and I know I get hell for it, but The Last Jedi, people bash it and they have every right to. I know I've had my complaints about it, but it was finally a story that didn't center around anybody else. It was other people.
Yeah.
You know, they show a kid who's force sensitive pick up a broom. I'm like, finally, good for you. You know, I can't wait for Ahsoka. I can't wait for the Ahsoka show. That's going to be fantastic. Do I want to see an Obi-Wan TV show? Nah, not really, but sure, why not? Because I would love to know what happened while he was watching over Luke. Who knows? It's something different. It's not about Anakin or Luke or Leia.
You know what it is like? It's like virtual reality games. I mean, everybody plays them, and everybody wants to. Everybody, eventually follows a storyline and completes the quests. But the fun part is going off track and just visit these little corners, which has nothing to do with the main plot.
I want to see a movie about Tom Bombadil from The Lord of the Rings.
I want to see a movie from
Wow.
the Stormtrooper.
You went there.
I did. I went there.
You went there.
I went there.
I want to see a story from the view of a Stormtrooper.
Why not? Why not? I mean, they kind of did it with the last 3 movies, but it wasn't to the extent that they could have. You know?
I mean, to me, all that was okay. We had one Stormtrooper who the brainwashing didn't quite go all the way in, and he broke the brainwashing and blah 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 and everything.
Right.
Now I'm talking from word go for a Stormtrooper.
Well, and
What do they go through and everything else to get to be a Stormtrooper?
That's what I was kind of hoping they were going to do with Solo, a Star Wars story, because the backstory is he was a part of the Empire. So it's like, why didn't you show that? Why didn't you show him escaping the Empire and then doing what he was doing? Why didn't you show it?
Right.
You know? So all in all, I love that they're doing this. Yes, it was... actually, I think this episode was pretty evenly paced. It was a nice, evenly paced, and yeah, even though the training with the Tusken Raiders did go a little bit longer than expected, I like how they showed the detail of it. So, to me, and I'm going to start this off, I'm going to give this episode 4 Mandalorian helmets, because the story itself, it kept going, it kept you interested, it kept you watching. It really did. And there was a lot of callbacks to a lot of the Star Wars nerdy stuff that I've got. JT, what do you give it?
I want Echo to go first.
Well, too bad. I went first.
Well, next.
Oh, okay. You want Western Echo to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Western Echo.
Okay. So it's out of how many helmets? 5?
5 Mandalorian helmets.
I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.5, and I'll tell you why.
Please.
I would have given it a 4, but again, the fact that the story starts out, then it goes into a flashback that just never ends.
Yeah.
And then the credits roll, and you go, wait a second. We were just at the mayor's office. What happened? That kind of threw me. And then you're right. It was very evenly paced, which is what threw me off because I was very comfortably sitting back and just following the story, not bored. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for it. Then the credits, and I go, what?
Wait, what? The credits already?
Huh? So that's the only reason I'm giving it 3.5 out of 4.
Okay. All right. JT,
See,
what about
I
you?
would think that the fact that it hits an ending like that is totally unexpected would actually raise the score of an episode, not reduce it.
Which is why I gave it a 4.
Yeah, because I mean, the storyline and everything was so engulfing that you completely lost track of time and space and everything else.
Right.
You were fully engulfed in it. So I would think, but then again, this is Echo we're talking about, that it would raise the score, not reduce the score, you know. I got Echo over here. What the?
I'm right here. Guys.
Dude, how many times did you watch us with Adam? Come on now. You're the third wheel in this tricycle of pain, pal, you know?
He does have a point. You have seen us. You have
me,
seen us with Adam.
Yeah.
And we love Adam.
Might as well get used to it if you're going to be here.
So,
for me, I actually give it a 4 3/4.
what? You're beating me?
Yes.
Craziness.
I'm giving this episode a 4 3/4. One of the things, good night, Carol. Have a good night, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
One of the things that I love is pacing, and you guys know that.
Yes.
That has been a main factor for me in every episode that we've ever done. The pacing in this episode was so good, like I said, that you got totally lost. All three of us got totally lost in the episode, and the ending came up out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Without a
And
doubt.
we're all like, whoa. I looked at Kay and said, what the fuck? She was asleep at that time, but I was still like, what the fuck? And then you add in the fact that, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, I love backstory. I love finding out about what made a character the character that they are, and that kind of thing. And honestly, the thing that pushed it up for me was the train.
Yeah, that
Taking
was cool.
the train. Because to me, and yeah, that was, the thing that made him, or made the Tusken Raiders. I'm sorry, I can't call them that. That made the Sand People accept him as truly part of their tribe. That's what really pushed it over the edge for me. But yeah, 4 3/4, a really, really good episode. And if they improve on this episode, man, that's going to be an awesome episode.
Oh, I think we're going to see some interesting things coming up. And the good thing about this is it's finally a story about Boba Fett that we've all been wanting.
Yep.
We really have, and I love that they're tying it all together. I really do.
The only other person in the Star Wars universe that I would really like to see a backstory on, even though he's killed very, very early on in the movie series, is Greedo.
Oh, Greedo.
Come on, I'm a Jar Jar Binks fan. You know I gotta be a Greedo fan.
Han shot first.
I'm honest about it.
Proof. Han shot first.
Yes, he did. But they both had a gun out.
And that's Star Wars, not Star Wars Episode 4. It's Star Wars. Just like Empire Strikes Back is Empire Strikes Back, not Star Wars. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. It's Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi is Return of the Jedi. Just saying.
Yes, there is no A New Hope.
Nope. Well, it is, but that's besides the point. With that being said, our podcast for this week is over, folks. Thank you very much for Western Echo for sitting in. And yes, I know I have to fix your lower third name because I forgot the H apparently. And
That's okay.
I know it's so bad. It's bad.
I only go by that on Twitter, and I don't go on Twitter, so
Yeah.
There it goes. There it is. And of course,
me and Echo agree about.
And you'll be back with us next week, I presume, for episode 3, which airs this Wednesday. So make sure you watch chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, which we have no idea what the title is yet. We'll know on Tuesday. Everything that I'm looking at, I'm like, hey, when's chapter 3? What's it going to be called? No idea. So make sure you watch it. It is on Disney Plus, and Disney Plus does not sponsor the show, but it would be really cool if they did. I'm not going to lie. I think they might enjoy, what we actually talk about. That's besides.
Although then we wouldn't be able to cuss
Sure, we would.
as much.
We'd have to go back to PG-13. But that's besides the point. So, we are live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Avenger Pretenders, and on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern for The Sully Show, right here on Accidental Punch TV. So for those that are still watching, thank you very much. We are not going to do a raid tonight. We're just going to kill it as is. So, with that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and fare thee well. Goodbye, everybody, and have some fun. Bye.